Today is a day Miami Heat fans have been waiting for.
The team officially introduced Jimmy Butler today. CBS 4's Mike Cunha is in the newsroom with his thoughts on joining the Heat. Mike.
Hey guys, Jimmy Butler once said he would never wear a Heat uniform.
The Miami Heat knew they were getting an all-star in Jimmy Butler when they acquired him in the offseason, and as for the Miami Heat, they will only go as far as the NBA's most intense player in Jimmy Butler can take them. So far in the playoffs, the Miami Heat are sizzling, and many players should look to learn from Jimmy Butler and what he has accomplished in his career so far. Being selected with the 30th pick by the Chicago Bulls, the final pick of the first round of the 2011 NBA draft, Butler didn't have the lofty expectations that many All-Stars had going in. Players picked after the lottery aren't expected to meet the same expectations early on. Jimmy Butler, however, never had the typical path to the NBA stardom as most. Having grown up homeless outside of Houston when Jimmy was younger, Butler was far from a shoo-in in the NBA draft in 2011. Butler had to manifest NBA superstardom through hard work. Initially, during Butler's first years with the Bulls, he went from the bench to a rotation player with a small role in which he was playing sparse minutes off the bench. By year 2, however, Jimmy was an integral part of the team's core. While still a role player, Butler was a spark plug off the bench. Butler basically broke out during the second season in Chicago and became an important piece off their bench. By year 3, he was the team's starting shooting guard. His stifling defense made him a nuisance for the other team. With each passing year, it seemed like the guard was developing into a bona fide star. In year 4, Jimmy's star power was confirmed in 2015 when he made his first All-Star game. So Jimmy became an All-Star. While several of the Bulls burnt out thanks to injury, Butler continued to rise, becoming one of the best utility players in the NBA. After being traded from the Bulls to the Timberwolves for Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, number 7 pick, Jimmy had a brief stint in Minnesota and then eventually ended up in Philadelphia. Finally, Jimmy Butler has found a team that aligns with his sensibilities, even if Philly offered the chance for legitimate championship contention. With the Miami Heat, Butler has what he's always wanted, a chance to win on his own terms. 2 years ago, it was easier to dismiss Butler's parting shots about the Wolves when all the drama and media leaks around his exit played out like a bad soap opera. Butler was cast as the disgruntled star, the bad teammate, forcing his way out on his own selfish terms. Some of that overhaul, you could say, was tied to Butler's exit, and that his decisions not to re-up with the Wolves kneecapped the organization and Thibodeau's plans. But it was never a good mix of personalities between Butler and Karl Anthony Towns, who Butler questioned concerning his work ethic on multiple occasions. Butler did, however, make an immediate impact with the Timberwolves. With the addition of Butler, Minnesota found themselves playing playoff basketball. After successfully ending a 10-year playoff drought in his first season with Minnesota, Butler proved to be the hero Timberwolves' fans were asking for. On the other hand, multiple reports surfaced of Butler wanting out of Minnesota. Being the Timberwolves' saving grace last season, Jimmy Butler was being painted as the villain coming into the 2018 to 2019 season. Butler was feeling like an outsider inside of the Timberwolves organization. Nobody in the Timberwolves organization was ever mad at Jimmy, at least not publicly, for forcing his way out of town the way he did. Some of that might have to do with the fact that athletes generally frown upon those who speak on other athletes' financial situation, and Butler had an impending new contract on his agenda. The 2 seasons since he left Minnesota have shown maybe Butler does know a thing or two about winning at a high level in the NBA. He nearly led the 76ers to the Eastern Conference Finals last season against the eventual champion Raptors. The 76ers could have very well won a title in that season. Jimmy received a lot of criticism for going to Miami when it seemed he was a contender in Philadelphia. Now the 76ers are contemplating their future as an organization, and the Heat are a step away from the finals. After the Heat finished the 2018 to 2019 campaign with a losing record of 39-43 that year, the difference has been Jimmy Butler. In July, the Heat brought in Butler on a 4-year, $142 million deal, and it's paid off. This season, the Miami Heat are winning games because of the development of Bam Adebayo, breakout rookie performances from Kendrick Nunn, Tyler Herro, and Duncan Robinson, and the simple fact that they're making a lot more threes. But mostly, the Heat are winning because of Butler. While Butler isn't shooting particularly well, perhaps Butler's most glaring negative statistic is his 24.4% three-point shooting average, the lowest since his rookie campaign. He's still been spectacular in the regular season. Jimmy Butler is a great reminder for all the young athletes out there about impacting the game without having a crazy stat line. It's easy to get caught up in gaudy numbers, particularly in the age of social media, but there are many ways to help your team win. It's those little things that earn you the ultimate respect of your teammates and coaches. Jimmy is a monster defensively, even when it doesn't show up in the box score. Having a superstar like Butler changes everything, and the Heat are living proof of that. The marriage of Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat always made too much sense. Butler is the player who grinded his way to stardom from the humblest of beginnings in junior college, the self-made stud who was always eager to remind you that no one works as hard as he does. The Heat are a franchise that prides itself on putting in work, making players drop body fat and get into the best shape of their lives, with the before and after pictures to prove it. It speaks to how well things are going for the Heat in Butler's first year with the team. There were no leaks to the media about practice tirades or chewing out coaches in film sessions as there were in Butler's previous stops with Minnesota and Philadelphia. No calling out his coach for not coaching hard enough like there was in Chicago under Fred Hoiberg. Butler was happy, and the drama, coincidentally enough, faded away. Winning followed in its wake as Butler and the Heat have now advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals after upending favored Milwaukee in 5 games. Butler is the unquestioned leader of the Heat. That also wasn't the case in Philadelphia with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, or in Minnesota with Towns and Andrew Wiggins. The Heat have the front office stability and support of Butler to let him act how he wants. Veterans and rookies like Tyler Herro and Kendrick Nunn have bought in, and the results have been evident. The move turned out to be a smart one so far. If Jimmy Butler were your friend, you would probably tell him to take a chill pill. Over the course of his career, Butler has been the NBA's leader in performative grinding. He shows up to the gym at 3:30 a.m. before a 10 a.m. practice. He goes an entire summer without cable or internet. He won't stop dribbling in his hotel room at Disney World and let his neighbors get some goddamn sleep. Taking a page from greats like Kobe Bryant, Butler has a daily schedule that most people couldn't handle. In an NBA world, many players like staying up late out on the town, but Butler is in bed when the sun is still up during the season. He goes to bed early and wakes up at the crack of dawn, sometimes as early as 3 or 4 a.m. Then he practices and weight trains. Now, back in the bubble, Butler's marriage to his job might make him some new enemies for a hilarious reason. While people still flooded into Disney World, reports TMZ, Butler got a complaint from a downstairs neighbor who heard him dribbling as they tried to sleep. Butler runs on a different fuel level. His greatest inspiration isn't Bryant or another athlete, but Hollywood star Wahlberg. The summer prior to Jimmy Butler winning Most Improved Player in the 2014 to 2015 season, Butler went off the grid. No TV, no internet. It was just Butler and his friends with a house in Houston, hooping. Butler's summertime grind is real. One could even say that the off-season is truly his season. Jimmy Butler walked us through his daily routine in preparation for the season. If someone were to Google the definition of hard work, they might find a picture of Jimmy Butler as the definition. Butler not only is dedicated to hard work, but he also embraces it. Even in Greece while on vacation, he found time to get in 2 grueling workouts, one of which his Butler battled through and won. Butler sticks to his daily routine. His goal is to work on all aspects of his body, build strength, and maintain endurance for a long and tedious NBA season. Men's Health profiled his training routine, which even the most physically fit non-athletes may think twice about doing. Butler wakes up at 4 a.m. to start his day, never skipping a day or a step in the process. From there, everything involves a strict routine, so the Heat player doesn't take any days off. He tries to be in bed by 7 p.m. when he isn't playing and prepares for his sleep 3 hours beforehand with herbal tea and a ban on screen time. Despite these crazy hours, Butler's current trainer, James Scott, claims that the athlete is never late and never lazy in his approach. According to Men's Health, Butler starts his workout by shooting a 10-pound medicine ball like a basketball to build up his wrist strength. After this, he holds 45-pound weights by his side and purpose drops them so he can catch them. This helps with his grip. After that is a game of sorts, where Butler stands on one leg and has his resistance tested with a band. Scott then throws red and blue balls, the red meant to be caught with his left hand, the blue to be caught with his right, to test his awareness and reflexes. According to Scott, the game is Butler's favorite routine. Then, the duo follows up with bridges, planks, and an ab workout. Once this phase is complete, Butler shoots 1,000 jump shots in the next hour. Then he heads home for breakfast, which includes egg white omelets, avocados, berries, and black coffee. He has a small time frame for recovery before he does more drills. If this is not enough, Scott claims he heads down to the arena at 3 p.m. to see if anyone wants to play a pickup game. Butler treats everything as a challenge. This would not be possible if he just showed up on game days and practice season. Instead, he works harder than anyone else to make opponents suffer. In conclusion, Jimmy Butler isn't the type of player you trade for a couple lottery tickets. He's the type of player you build your franchise around. The Heat realized that, and now they're reaping the benefits.